What's going on, Bulls fans? We got a game coming up. Bulls tonight against the Utah Jazz. Can the Bulls bounce back? Can they play a little bit better? Can they do all of these things? All that remains to be seen on today's Bulls channel. I don't know what to say. I worked myself into that one, not knowing where the hell I was going to go with it. But what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We got a game plan for the Chicago Bulls today, facing against the Utah Jazz. What this means, what this does, how this ends up working out for the team, all that lays ahead. It's going to be interesting to see what the Bulls do or don't do in this game, right? To see how they respond, how they come back from adversity. Listen, Bulls Nation is ready to give up, right? We've seen it at the quickest sign of anything turning down. A lot of Bulls fans are just, as of right now, throwing their hands up like, oh, I guess we're going to be a first round exit. There are some Bulls fans that literally believe that the Chicago Bulls are going to be a play-in team. There's a lot of people who think that. But you know what? The Bulls got to handle their business. I want to see how they rebound. I want to see how they come back over the last 14 games of the season. It's going to be key. It's going to be key. The Bulls have some tough games, as we know, this week. They got some tough games as well next week. Then they have tough games off and on, right, against some of the marquee teams. But then those last five out of the last six are all hitters. How the Bulls finish that is going to be key. Very, very key. So Bulls team got to do what they got to do. The next 4 games are all tough for the Bulls. The Bulls got Utah, Phoenix, Toronto, and Milwaukee. That's the next 4 games. And Toronto and Milwaukee are back-to-backs Monday and Tuesday. It's not getting any easier for the Bulls. Now, after that, the Bulls do have New Orleans, Cleveland, and New York, and Washington, and L.A. before the Clippers, before they finish out that last 5 or 6 that I said is really tough. I said it on my pre-recorded video today. The Bulls remaining the combined winning percentage of the teams the Bulls have left to play is 56%. Listen, it's gonna get really, really interesting. Rogelio, I probably murdered that. I apologize. What's going on, family? Glad to see you here. This is my first time seeing you here, I think. Welcome. Pat is coming back on Monday. Hey, it could very well happen. We'll see. Well, listen, Friday is not completely out of the realm of possibility right now, right? I know they said the end of March, but Friday is not out of the realm of possibility. Like we saw with Alex Caruso, he got cleared for full contact, and then I think 2 games after that, he was back. So we'll see. It's very big that he is cleared for full contact, and we're going to see what that means for the Chicago Bulls. So we'll see what that means. Must handle business tonight. Yes, they got to handle business tonight. Paul cleared for full contact. Let's go. Return is coming in a week. Listen, it could be less. Like I said, Alex Caruso got cleared for full contact. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Well, I know games-wise. I don't know, I don't remember the amount of days between it, but literally, I think he missed 2 games after that, and he was back. So Paul is coming back. He's coming back. And don't be surprised if Lonzo is faster behind him than what we think. I think over the course of the weekend, we're going to get some key Lonzo Ball news. Be on the lookout for that. We're going to get some key Lonzo Ball news over the course of the weekend or on Monday. Listen, Haize said it here first, so when it happens, just remember, I said it. That's all I'm going to say. Just remember I said it. Laser Show says if the Bulls shoot the ball better this game, they can easily win this. I don't know about easily, but and play better defense. Play better defense. My personal opinion, Zach needs to really play with more grit, play like he wants. That's your personal opinion. The fact that he's playing through injury in the way that he has, I can't say he needs to play with more grit. Zach LaVine's literally that thumb ligament came less than 10 games into the season, and he's been dealing with stuff since then. Now, I want to see him play smarter down the stretch, but Zach LaVine's grit, I personally never question. I don't question it. Do you really think he could come back on Friday? I feel like listen, like I said, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Alex Caruso, he missed 2 games after he was cleared for full contact practice. 2. I'm not saying it's likely. I'm not saying that it's likely at all. I'm just saying don't be surprised, right? Don't be surprised if he participates in contact practice tomorrow and Friday before the game, and they say, "Hey, we're gonna let him go with limited minutes. We're gonna let him go with about 10 minutes." I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's happening for sure, but I'm saying don't be surprised if it happens. Laxus Garcia says, Paul is tough, ceiling is high. I don't know why people want to give up on him because Bulls fans are short-sighted. We came into the season firing on all cylinders, and for the first time in a long time, a lot of Bulls fans saw, hey, we can be contenders. So why are we waiting on this Paul guy to develop? Why are we waiting on this Paul, P-A-W, not Paul as you? I don't enunciate very well. You know what I mean. But why are we waiting on Patrick Williams to develop? Let's go ahead and trade him. Let's get somebody who's more proven now and is short-sighted. And that's what's going to – listen, short-sightedness is what led the Lakers to where they are. I don't want any short-sighted moves on this Bulls team. And I want to see them continue to build out the roster but keep young. And I don't expect them to keep every young player. I really don't. I know some Bulls fans want it to happen. I would love for it to happen. Let me be clear. This isn't me saying my wants or not. I would love for the Bulls to keep every young player that they have and let them develop. But every one of them, it's kind of unlikely that it happens. But, hey, we see. I've been proven wrong before. How many games should Zach rest up for? Listen, it's at this point, it's not about resting up. I think back-to-backs, they may start resting him, but I don't expect him to miss a lot of games. I really don't. Honestly, we need to come out with energy and play like we hungry. The King slaps us right in our face. And I think, well, this is the thing. The Bulls have come out with energy before and it still fucked them up. Like, let me just be frank. So coming out with energy is not going to be the only thing that solves this. They need to play smart. They need to contain leads. They need to stop the bleeding. They need to play with more poise. The Bulls have come out with some fire and heat and have either gotten into some close shit down the stretch or lost games down the stretch that they came out with energy for. So coming out with energy isn't the only answer, but that does not mean that I don't want to see it. I agree with you. I want to see them come out with energy, but I want to see them play sustained effort on both sides of the ball and execution on both sides of the ball, because coming out with energy that didn't give up another big third quarter is not it. It's not it. Let's see. Uh-oh. Okay, he's out this game. All right, that changes some things. But again, that's the thing with this Bulls team. They can I think fully healthy, this Bulls team can beat anyone. And I also think they can lose to anyone by the way they play sometimes as well. So they got to lock in. They got to lock in. Do you think the key to Bulls success in the future is LaVine needs to improve his handles and generate his own? Oh, LaVine can generate his own offense. What are you talking about? Like, he literally spent the last 3-4 years here generating his own offense. So LaVine generating offense is an issue. He does need to get smarter with his ball handling down the stretch and his playmaking down the stretch. But generating his own offense, that's not an issue with Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine is a 3-level scorer. He can generate his own offense. If we traded Paul and Kobe, our team would be win or bust. Well, I mean, some Bulls fans think we're win or bust anyway. So, but I don't think that it needs to. It definitely, they're not trading Paul. This front office is not trading Patrick Williams. It's not happening. Now, I have said very openly what I think. I don't want to see the Bulls trade Kobe White, but if you look at the way, depending on what money he may command, the fact that you may not want to even wait to let a team give him another offer sheet, it may make sense to trade Kobe White in the offseason and package him with their first-round pick. It may, right, depending on what you can get back. But I don't want to see that happen. Let me be clear. I don't want to see that happen. So we'll see. We'll see. What caused Zach's knee to have problems, which he didn't even hurt with context, or what do you not pay attention? Like, I can't answer anybody's question, the things that are out there. I'm sorry, bro. There's too many people asking legitimate basketball questions for me to answer that. Under no circumstances do you trade Patrick Williams. Listen, I'm telling y'all, the Bulls trade Patrick Williams. All these Bulls fans that want Patrick Williams traded, especially for fucking Jeremy Grant, but like in 3 years they would have been pissed off. We would have looked back and been like, what the hell is that? JD8 says, smash that like button. Likers gonna like. That's funny. That's funny. In Acme, we trust. Listen, until they have shown that they don't deserve our trust. And even then, every front office makes mistakes. It's the fact that you want to space those mistakes out. Give me any GM. They've made mistakes over the course of their career. The fact of the matter is that's going to happen. AK and Eversley are going to make a mistake. They're going to draft a player that doesn't work out. It's going to happen. But the difference is the good outweighing the bad. We saw John Paxson for a while when he was just the GM, made good decisions for a while. But that shit all went to hell, and they made bad after bad after bad after bad. We don't need that. We don't need that. For me, 8+ assists for Io in his future is more possible than 20 points per game. Thoughts? Keep in mind, Io was a scorer in college. So because of that, it depends on this team. No, right? On this team, no. He's going to always have people ahead of him, probably on the depth chart as far as scoring wise, ahead of him to where he's not going to be a 20-point per game scorer. And he definitely has the playmaking to get 8 assists per game. But I think Io could develop into a 20-point per game scorer. Maybe more 18 is more likely, but he has the ability to do both. I think on this team, though, we're going to see the assists come way before we see the points come, personally. Isaac says, when was Patrick cleared for practice? I think it was 30 minutes ago. Let me see when the tweet came out. Give me 1 second. I had it up because I fluctuated and was trying to decide if I was going to record that video or do the pregame show. I chose to do the live stream, but it looks like he was the 7:55 is when the tweet came out. The Chicago Bulls tweeted it at 7:55, so we're less than 30 minutes since they made that announcement. Do you think that Marco is going to crack? He has to. In my opinion, if Marco is not on the roster next year and he's still in the G League, something's really, really wrong. And that doesn't still mean that he can't turn into a player, but every year that happens and he stays in the G League rather than be on the main roster, his ceiling lowers. To me, that's a personal thing. I'm not saying in reality, I'm saying a personal thing. I would like to see Marco be on this team next year, getting about 10 minutes off the bench per game. I think that if he adds to his body, but I definitely think that. John, that the great. What up, Haize? Let's go cat in the summer. It's not happening, brother. That's not happening this summer. I'm just letting you know right now. The cat thing's not happening. Like snip this, cut it, whatever. I would be glad to be proven wrong. Like I'm not against Karl Anthony Towns being on the Bulls at all. Just realistically, I don't see that happening this summer. I don't. There's too many things up in the air. Zach's contract. Then keep in mind they can't absorb it. They'd have to make a trade. Now, I know people are probably going to say, well, Nikola Vucevic's contract works, but they're not going to take Nikola Vucevic straight up. Now, if it may take Nick, Kobe, the first round pick from this year. It may take that. It may even take throwing in Marco if you want Karl Anthony Towns this summer. I don't think that it happens, though. I just don't think that it happens. Paul is being more aggressive this season. He's the leader of our summer league team, and he got injured. What a mess. I mean, he was more aggressive in summer league. He wasn't more aggressive when he actually played on this Bulls team. But with that being said, summer league is a completely different thing. Just like I don't over evaluate or put too much weight on G League. Summer league is a completely different beast. Literally, the summer league team was built around Patrick Williams doing this thing. That's literally everything that they call for, all of it. Now, he did look really good in that role, so that does show that he has that skill. But having a skill set doesn't always translate to being able to be executed on an NBA roster. So we'll see. I read a serious article that the Bulls should trade AC, Kobe, Io, and Vooch for AD. What do you say? I say that they're smoking that crack cocaine. 80s version, that snowfall shit. That's what they're smoking. What the fuck? Come on, man. Come on. Would I rather have this is what I'm going to say. One is a MVP and one is a really good player on a team that has not ever done anything. I'm going to let you think which one I'd rather have. And keep in mind too, this is what I was saying. Some people think I'm crazy with this. The roster that's around Jokic is good. Don't get me wrong. He has some really good players around him, but it's not great. He's the motor of what makes that team go. So I'm always going to pick a player like that over a player who on their team has barely been able to do anything. So Jokic gets the nod for me on that one. Jake says, hey, Haize, I've wanted to say I've been watching your channel for a few months now, and you're one of the only people I trust with Bulls information. Keep up the great work, my guy. That means the world to me. Integrity of this channel has always meant the most to me. That's why I don't do the clickbait videos. That's why I don't do the Bears are reportedly interested in. I don't do that. I wait till actual information comes out from actual beat writers or a trusted source, something like that. But I really, that's the biggest compliment anyone can give me with this channel, is because that's what I build it around. That's the same thing I'm doing over on the Bears channel. Anyone who follows Chicago Bears Central will know that that's the exact same thing we're doing there. It makes me a little bit slower sometimes to do some of the speculative things that people do, but it's because I really want to get the most information possible, and I don't want to just be throwing anything out there like some of these channels do. That's not a shot to anyone. That's just personally how I want to conduct myself on this channel. So you saying that means everything to me, brother. My dad's in the building. Hell no, not all that for AD. Now I feel bad. I was just cursing up a storm. My dad's in the building. Let's see what else we got. Jay Lars says, Haize, why do you think the Bulls can't start off strong consistently? It really hurts them fighting to get out when they're down big. Well, it's not even, look, I don't know, right? I don't have the answer to it. But the thing is we've seen the Bulls give up big leads. We've seen the Bulls literally have leads that they should have been able to coast it in second halfway through the third quarter and in the fourth quarter. But they give up those leads. Why are you howling? But then they give up those leads and they make it tougher on themselves down the stretch. I really think it's why are you howling? Huskies, I'm telling y'all, don't do Huskies. They literally talk all the time. Nonetheless, but it's a combination of those things. I think that, not having players that are necessarily battle tested, and I don't just say that as a buzzword. I say that to mean like they don't have a lot of players that have played for a lot over the course of their career. Like look at the Bulls roster. There's only 2-3 players now with Tristan that have really played for something meaningful over the course of their career. They've played in tight games. They've played in tight playoff series. They've done those things. So because of that, I think it makes it a little bit difficult for that consistency to stay up when your starters go to the bench and those bench players come in. That's just my opinion. That's the way that I evaluate it. Bilbo Baggins. First of all, you win the username of the day. First of all, Bilbo Baggins, the fact that that's the Lord of the Ring reference, you already. Then 33. Listen, come on, man. That's you bringing two of my favorite things together. I appreciate you. Zach can create his own shot. He needs to fit in the flow of the team. It's been a problem since his injury issues started. Last game, he and DeMar had similar numbers, but Zach had a much worse box plus minus. Yes, and Zach hasn't been getting to the line efficiently either. DeMar, don't forget, DeMar's plus minus goes up a lot because of his ability to get to the line as well. Do you think Patrick Williams would ever play small? I mean, he was our starting small forward last year. So if DeMar wasn't on this roster, he would be our small forward. But we really haven't gotten to see a lot of him at the 4 to really see what it looks like, to really see him, because people think that because it's 3-4, they think it's just an easy switch. You literally go from playing perimeter players to being down low and playing bigger players. So that is a big switch for a 20-year-old player, and we really didn't get to see how he really adjusted to that. So, but as far as your answer, I think that Patrick Williams, the reason why this front office also loves Patrick Williams is his versatility, because he has he can play the 3, and he has enough size, depending on how else this roster is built out, to play 4 in today's NBA. And so he really makes it easy on how else you want to build the roster. Now, it depends. Once DeMar's gone, do they find another more traditional 3, or do they find a big man 4? It just depends on a lot. But Patrick Williams can absolutely play the 3. So David G says, ditto Haize, you talk real basketball. Thank you. I appreciate that, David. I appreciate that, bro. What you talking about, my dog? Igor says maybe your dog is asking for attention. That's literally, I have 2 dogs. The old man is around here somewhere. I barely see him. He does his own thing. He picks a corner. He lays in it. The husky, he's a husky German Shepherd mix. He literally just wants somebody to touch him all day long. It's bad, man. It's bad. And then he gives random hugs too. Like if he could, he would give random massages like Biden. Like that's what he would do. Let's see what we got. Patrick Williams played some shooting guard last season. He for sure played small forward. Did Patrick Williams play some shoot? I don't even remember that. The thing with Patrick Williams as a shooting guard is his listen, and this is not to shit on the player, but Patrick Williams' lateral quickness is not the best, right? Let's be clear on that. He's not the quickest lateral movement player. So I would really be interested to see him guard some twos. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't have the ability, and we've seen players that aren't the quickest laterally because maybe you have enough length and everything to keep the players in front of you. You don't need to have a bunch of lateral quickness, but man, that really concerns me. It feels like 10 years since Pat played. It definitely feels like a long 5 games into the season. That's a whole different time period. Millar Miller says a possible double-digit win streak before the regular season ends. A double-digit win streak? That would mean that the Bulls would have to win 10 out of the next 14 games. Whew. I don't know. Even listen, I try to be realistic. I don't know about all that one, brother. I don't know about all that one, man. Man, Haize, gotta have a husky. I have an Alaskan. She keeps me up all night with her howling. Well, I guess that's the wolf in her. I've actually had a pet wolf before, briefly. That didn't work out very well. But living in St. Louis, you can listen. And anyone who's from St. Louis, Missouri, I don't live in St. Louis anymore, knows if you go to the Ozarks, you can get anything. You can get a Komodo dragon. You can get anything. They got, for anyone who watches Ozarks, the show on Netflix, it's not that bad. They've embellished some, but Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri, you can get just about anything there. Dead serious. Imagine 100% healthy Zach and a fully healthy lineup. Oh, man, listen. If this team had stayed relatively healthy throughout the season, whoo, man, because I really do think Patrick Williams would have, the strides that we saw Ayo take, I think Patrick Williams would have took similar strides being out there with that team in the starting lineup that he would have been playing around. I think Patrick Williams would have took some major, major strides. Run with us in the building. What's going on? Run with us. It's Patrick. No, he's not returning this game. He got cleared for full contact practice, but he's not coming back this game. Like the game against the Bucks where Tristan was going better at boxing Giannis, but coach still subbed him for Vooch when Vooch was struggling to handle Giannis. Hold on. I'm going to mute it real quick. I got to yell at my son. Give me one second. All right, y'all, I'm back. Anyone who knows my 8-year-old son, you guys have seen him. He's popped in on the stream before. That man, he's on go from the moment he opens his eyes to when he closes them to go to sleep. Like, he does not slow down for anyone. I'm so happy because he's going to be playing baseball this summer for his first time. And, you know, my dad's in the chat, if he's still here. My dad always says I was actually better at baseball than I was at football, which, I mean, he's probably right. So I'm just really excited to see my son play baseball. Like, I'm really, really excited that he's going to be playing baseball. His first real organized sport this summer. So it's going to be really exciting. Anyway, that's a side note. Sorry about that. Hoping Tristan Thompson gets 20 plus tonight. Listen, Tristan Thompson gets 20 plus tonight. Either something's gone very, very good or very horribly. There's no in between. I don't see a world in which Tristan scores 20 and the Bulls just had a game. If Tristan Thompson scores 20, it means the Bulls blew somebody out or got blown the hell out. That's what I think. Does my son play? My oldest son did play basketball. This last school year, he played football and didn't do basketball, and he got moved over to varsity a few games into the season from being JV. So I got 2 sons. My oldest son is 16. He'll be 16 in April. He was the ball player. He wants to get back into basketball too. And then my youngest son, my 8-year-old son, he is going to be doing baseball this season. Congrats, bro, on your son getting the time to shine. Props. Listen, I love sports. I love organized sports. I can watch just about any sport. But yeah, I'm excited for him too. I'm excited for him to have something because I think over the summers he gets kind of bored being in the house. We get out as much as we can to like go to the park and stuff, but him to be actually in an organized sport where he has practice 2 to 3 days a week, all that stuff, really, really looking excited for him for. SP says your son's first baseball game. This is going to be, I am too competitive. And I just worry that the parents are going to be looking at me like, he does realize this isn't the Little League World Series, right? Because I'm literally going to be out there going off. Like, I just know it. MC Season's in the building. Good evening, Haize. How you been today? I've been good, brother. I've been good. As you can tell, my energy's up. I got a 5-hour energy shot and some coffee ready for me for the post-game show. We got some things going on, man. Your son's going to be danger with that bat in his hand. Oh, man, listen. And it's funny because you don't even really know him, but anyone who knows Allen or Cordero Jr., whatever people, different people call him different things, he is, him with a bat, yes, especially initially. You a good, I would hope so. You got to ask my children. I would hope so. I try my best. My father set a great example for me. I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm a very active father. I love my children. So, they're here all the time. They're all here now, except my oldest, but they're all here now doing their own thing. Most of them are teenagers, so. No, not quite Petty Roosevelt. Petty Light, maybe. Petty Light. I can see Petty Light coming out. Wait, what? Von Miller is 6. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. Breaking news. I wish I was on the other side of the studio where I had where I got my soundboard with the sound effects. What just happened? Buffalo Bills agreed to a 6-year. Wow. That's wild. At 32 years old? Wow. Hey, shout out to that man. Shout out to him. How often did your dad yell at 8-year-old? Oh, I was a badass kid. So probably all the damn time. Probably all the time. How you liking Locked On Bulls? I love doing Locked On Bulls. I really love doing Locked On Bulls. Like it's a completely different vibe for me. For those who watch both shows know, and I think we're doing a pretty good job. So between me having Chicago Bulls Central, Pat having the Windy City Breeze, and us coming together to do Locked On Bulls, I think we do a good job in making sure each show has its own vibe. And because of that, it makes it enjoyable. It's really like doing, I've not once in the now 2 weeks that I've been doing Locked On Bulls have been like, oh, damn, I got to talk about the Bulls again. Not once at all. So yeah, it's been fun. You and Pat gonna have a Joe Cali on the No, never. That will never happen. When you were a child, your name was Petty, and now you are Haize. No, my nickname's always been Haize. Petty Roosevelt came out. So for those who don't know, I used to do a wrestling podcast. That's how I first got into podcasting. That was at this point, that was 8 years ago. If not more. Wow. Okay. About eight or 9 years ago, I started on a wrestling podcast. I actually had a wrestling podcast network. It got absorbed to the Hameen Media Group now, but had that. And so I used to go on these rants about Vince McMahon's booking. And when I used to go on these long, passionate rants, my co-host used to be like, "You're being petty." And then I don't know how the Roosevelt part came. So then the Petty Roosevelt character developed. And I used to like have this whole hat that I would put on. That's why I flip my cap around now, but I'd have like this fedora that I would put on and lean down. And that's how you knew when Petty Roosevelt was finna come out. So that's when Petty Roosevelt was created. It was about 8 or 9 years ago. Trubisky gonna have another blue collar city give and then why would they sign a Bears offensive lineman to guard Trubisky? Like Trubisky's literally anyone go and watch the Bears channel. Don't be surprised. They only signed him to a 2-year deal because literally he's not going to be protected. Don't be surprised if Trubisky gets a concussion 4 games into the season. Don't be surprised at that at all. Oh, Samir60 says, you thought they were talking about the Bears. Oh, if the Bears gave Von Miller that deal, I would have smacked Ryan Post, only because you've been so cheap, right? But what trying to maintain cap flexibility, I understand that, right? You want to build a team, but you don't want to overpay or have a huge cap because you really want to see and get time to evaluate. I understand all that. But had they gave Von Miller that deal after being cheap, oh, man, listen here. The tirade, Petty Roosevelt hasn't popped up on Chicago Bears Central yet. That literally would have got the first appearance of Petty Roosevelt. I got to wait till my Bears hat comes in, though, for Petty Roosevelt on Chicago Bears Central. Haize is because of my eyes. That's where Haize comes from. R.I.P. Yes, Scott Hall, the bad guy, one of my favorite wrestlers, the Outsiders, NWO, everything, right? The Razor Ramon days. I remember when I used to try to imitate Razor Ramon's voice so bad. When I found out Razor Ramon was not actually Cuban, the only thing that hurt me worse than that was finding out Undertaker was not actually a zombie. Those two things crushed me badly. Run With Us says, Haize, you should have guests come on your show. You just let John Morant and Derek Favors on the podcast yourselves with true. John Morant is instant ratings. We would literally go up from being 5,000 subscribers to 12,000 the day John Morant comes on this podcast. Y'all go hit John Morant up. Not John Morant. Keep in mind, John Morant. Hit him up and get him on the show. Haize, I missed the Bears podcast. What do you think about Khalil Mack trade? Bro, you got to go over there. You're not finna send me back in the trauma. I understand it from a business side, but Khalil Mack was my favorite Bear. Period. So once I let the personal attachment get out of it, I understood the deal. But Lord knows I was pissed. I was very pissed off when that first happened. Undertaker not actually. Well, think about it. Undertaker's character is literally supposed to be a zombie. He's supposed to be a dead man. You remember when they had? See, I'm old, so like they had the Undertaker comic when he was actually like I used to read that anything Undertaker I ate up. Like, listen, so the biggest betrayal of my life was finding out Undertaker was not actually a zombie. Biggest betrayal of my life. I can't remember how old I was when I found out wrestling wasn't real. I was maybe like 9 or 10. I literally looked at it and I was like, wait, no, it got to be real because where did the lightning come from? And then when you start picking apart and you're like, oh, wow. Listen, when they had the corporate ministry, oh, man, listen here. The corporate ministry and the corporate ministry's theme song, man, listen, y'all taking me back, man. Y'all taking me back. Jojo Perro says, you think Alonzo's missing the rest of the season? Apparently he has a bone bruise in his knee. Well, remember, it started off with a bone bruise. That's originally why he was out. They found out that he had the torn MCL after that. So he had a bone, but that's initially why he went down. So, the bone bruise doesn't scare me as much. It really doesn't. Maybe it should scare me more than what it does, but I do think, like I said before earlier in this stream, don't be surprised if we get some Lonzo Ball news Monday. That's all I'm going to say. Don't be surprised if we get some Lonzo Ball news Monday. Dad said, I tried to tell you from day one, fake. Yeah, you did. You did. I wasn't trying to hear it. I wasn't trying to hear it at all. Like, Kane and Undertaker aren't really brothers? What? No, man. Come on, man. Ain't no way. I wish I had my soundboard. Ain't no way. But all right, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and end this pregame because I got to get the Patrick Williams video out too before the game starts. So I got to do that. This is a good one. Yes, Yokozuna was actually Samoan. He's actually related, right? He's part of the Fatumo family, the same family that The Rock and Roman Reigns, which they're not actually cousins, they're like on the separate sides of the family. He was part of that whole thing. But all right, y'all. I'm gonna go record this Patrick Williams video. Then we're gonna start the game. I'll see you guys at halftime. See red, don't be red. Love you guys. Go Bulls.